Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we're diving together into Ultra League with my best teams video around Cresselia. I think that Cresselia has a really nice fit in the meta. It's pretty bulky, it can get you there on the moves pretty fast and can pressure a lot with those moves in return, which is pretty neat. Even against its soul counters, you can use it towards your advantage with your future sight against the fire types, or just go with the Moonblast towards whatever, or just keep your Grass Knot for those Swampers. Who knows, it's all up to you. So about the first team showcase, out of the total 4, we're gonna use the Obstagoon upon the lead, at the back as a safe switch the Giratina, while our closer is gonna be the Cresselia. With Cresselia as our closer, we kinda guarantee some really nice key elements of this team. You can see that Obstagoon is kinda weak to those fighters, while at the back we have two Pokemon that can definitely cover that weakness. Despite that's crafty, because still Giratina is part ghost and it might be a little bit struggled against those dark types, but still Giratina is the ultimate boss of Ultra League, so I would not be that much worried about that factor. Giratina has also a unique moveset with Shadow Claw, Dragon Claw, while you can always use as your second move Ancient Power for those fire types / flyers, or just use your Shadow Sneak for the ghost types, especially the Trevenant. But to be honest, with Obstagoon in your team, you might just want to keep your Ancient Power into play, and you never know, the boost might be welcomed at some point. Also, Giratina is gonna be your main safe switch for this line, able to get toe to toe, even up against the fairy types, and one of those fairy types is gonna be the core breaker of this line, especially that Tapu Fini. Up on the lead, Obstagoon is gonna struggle a lot against Tapu, but still, even against its worst counters towards the end of the battle, you can always use Obstacle to debuff them, or just go with a Gang Shot if you feel spicy that day. But I think that Obstacle is gonna be your second move for sure, while Nuzlocke has to be kept as your primary charge attack, especially if you can get that boost as well. So this team is working pretty nicely, a lot of boosts and debuffs to be honest, but still I think that the bulk that it has is insane, and it is gonna help you a lot on your Ultra League journey for sure. We saw before Cresselia as a safe switch, here it is now as a leader, and I think that up on the lead it might be kinda more useful for your teams. So Cresselia upon the lead, able to do a lot of work against the enemy, and even if they have something like a Swampert, they are most likely gonna switch out of there, so do not run a Grass Knot if you feel like you don't have to. And yeah, that is my general advice about Cresselia. So let's see now how the team is gonna work here, because Cresselia is gonna be your main way to go up against that Swampert, while at the back you have two Pokemon weak to Swampert, but still they are gonna pull off some real nice crazy wins, and of course protecting your Cresselia from steel types, which is pretty neat. So the synergy is there, it's all up to you to find it out. So Cresselia upon the lead, at the back the safe switch on the face of Charizard, able to use it aggressively most of the times and draw out that Swampert, while your closer will remain the Stunfisk. I really like Charizard as a safe switch for the meta, I have already made a video about it. It is gonna be an amazing Pokemon overall if you decide to use it, and of course Charizard is gonna get you there on those moves pretty fast with a new wing attack, while Dragon Claw is gonna be used for coverage and Blast Burn for your nukes. Stunfisk as a closer is gonna remain as one of the best ones because of its steel typing and that Earthquake dealing a lot of damage on the enemies, and of course your Rock Slide is gonna come in handy against the fire types and the flyers for sure. As a core breaker, I have decided to add Jellicent only because of it being part ghost, and can do a lot of work against the backline with Surf, while Shadow Ball can still hurt that Cresselia. So other than that, you're gonna be just fine, and to be honest, from my experience in Ultra League this season, I haven't seen a lot of Jellicents around. We proceed now into the next one with Cresselia upon the lead, at the back the Cobalion and Pidgeot as our closer. I like this line a lot, but I think that you might want to replace Pidgeot with Staraptor. On PvPoke, Pidgeot is the better version of that flying Pokemon, but I think that Pidgeot is a better leader, while Staraptor is a better closer only because of that close combat. And of course the close combat is gonna give you a variety of options against more threats, so yeah, you can see a give and take situation, but Pidgeot is slightly tankier, while it also has the debuffing move on that Feather Dance. At the back we also have Cobalion, which is once again our primary safe switch, and up on the lead the Cresselia. So up against a Red Steel for example, you want to definitely switch out to your Cobalion, while your Staraptor will remain as a closer. But if you do not have a Staraptor in your team, perhaps you want to stay in with your Cresselia, so you can see as to how Red Steel can work as a core breaker for this line. However, I think that if you run Staraptor, you're gonna get coverage against Steel types, so you can be on a very good spot overall. So this line is particularly strong. You want to switch out most of the times aggressively to your Cobalion to draw out something like a Swampert, for example, so that your closing part is gonna be much safer than usual. And if you can always draw something like I don't know, a Charmer, this is gonna be also a plus for you. I think that Cresselia upon the lead is gonna cover a lot of threats, especially the dark types, which is pretty cool for a psychic type Pokemon because of that Moonblast. You might want to run something like a Future Sight over Grass Knot, because whenever they're gonna see your Cresselia upon the lead and they have something like a Swampert or Walrein, most of the times they're gonna get out of there, which means that you are always gonna threat those Pokemons out of your way. And of course with Future Sight you're gonna get coverage against poisons, which is non-existent at this point, but also against Charizard and Talonflame, which is pretty neat, while Moonblast is mainly gonna be used as your primary charge attack. I think that this line has a lot of potential in the meta, and I believe that if you replace Pidgeot with Staraptor, you're gonna be on a much better spot than usual with this line. Into the final one, trainers, and we're already having a very bad time up on the lead. Doesn't matter though, because we have the Cresselia that can easily come in clutch, and Giratina could have been a core breaker to be honest as well, but you can see that the back-to-back Brave Birds or the Shadow Ball or the Moonblast can still threat that Pokemon, which is pretty neat if you ask me. So the core breaker of the Guzzlord is gonna be kinda bad for this line, time Ganeto, and of course the crunches or the brutal swings can hurt the backline, while the Dragon Claws and the Dragon type of Guzzlord can resist the Incinerates and do solid damage against that Talonflame. So definitely an all-time core breaker for this line that Guzzlord is, but still not a very tough one to come by, because you still got the Moonblast, which can always deal 100% of damage, being double super effective to that Pokemon, and of course the Brave Bird will deal about 90%, which is impressive to the Guzzlord. Other than that, I think we are gonna be just fine. So about this team, I really like it. The backline can protect the Talonflame from the Swamperts and other water type threats, while you still have a lot of play against the enemies, and you know that Talonflame is an amazing Pokemon overall. If you do not have a Talonflame because it needs excels, you might want to run something like a Charizard, but still I believe that this line as it is gonna be much better, and of course I really recommend it to you. So that is gonna be a wrap for the Cresselia coverage for this video, and I think that if you can use it with these lines, you're gonna have a lot of options against the meta, and Ultra League will be a very nice meta and format for you to rise up on your elo. That being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and yeah, that final team is my favorite, even though it has a clear weakness to the Guzzlord. Thank you for watching, trainers. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and if you want to support even more, well, joining as a member can always help with that matter. Thank you once again, and I hope to see you all into the next one. Take care, trainers.